You have the heart of the people on your side.
The Queen called the other mission the suicide mission.
I have hope in us, and I got odds.
Let me show you all the light of Alfheim.
I was going to ask for your help, and I was going to offer mine in return.
There are many, many things wrong here.
Many things wrong here, past what your eyes can see.
This can't be real.
No, it can't be possible.
That can't be right. There's no way that's right.
Go on without me.
My beloved Creator, the giver of life, the giver of light, I need but a small request from you.
You really all thought that you would stop me? Stop us?
I didn't do it. You know I would never.
Did you truly believe that we would not see this coming?
I was supposed to protect them.
I'll be waiting for you.
What good am I?
I tried so hard.
I can't be stuck here any longer.
If it was more than just one person, just one elf.
What did you do?
It's not him in there, it's not.
Time change, as all things do.
You would not wish me to do this.
The Dark Ages, a land in ruin. It's a coven of 3 dark creatures and their subservient trio of ancient black dragon siblings run rampant. They bring ruin and destruction to the land crumbling beneath their powers as curses, disease, murder, and bloodshed are being spread constantly. The 3 creatures have infected the minds of many, if not with their spells, then with their tyranny. The world is in need of heroes to rise up and put an end to this madness. You find yourselves in the large open gates of Castle Excelsior, the home to the half-elven queen and ruler of this land, Queen Ahriman Boshayan. You find yourselves walking into a large banquet hall. The queen and her advisor sit together at the far end of the table. You see, she is a beautiful half-elven woman who has this long flowing golden dress. A headpiece of a fractured golden crown sits around her head. Long white hair falls down behind her waist. In what you would expect to be a large, welcoming, multi-course meal, but lies instead a fairly barren table. A testament to the severity of the poverty that has struck this land, has struck you all in your day-to-day lives. So much so that even the royals are suffering and rationing. The queen and her advisor stand as you enter, giving you all a slight bow. You take your seats, looking to your left and right. What do we see?
Everyone sees a shifter, female shifter of middle age. She has large rabbit ears that are constantly rotating, looking for different sounds. Her hair is made of porcupine quills that travel to about past her shoulder, and she's got very furry long claws. But she's in a very elegant red dress with gold trim, and her hair is very neatly parted out of her face. And she's sitting beside her brother.
Osen is a shifter, but a shifter that has more accepted himself as a shifter, and he seems to always have a more bestial appearance, especially at this point in time in his life. The best way to describe him would be a gray wolf lichen, and he is currently wearing a white button-up with a blue overall on it. He stands a little bit taller than his sister, and he seems to be a little bit older than his sister.
Across from these two, you see quite a tall elven figure. She is clad in golds and whites and this a lot of flowy silks, but you can see that is over top what looks to be this very thin, shiny metal. And it appears that currently she's wearing full plate armor, yet it is thin and it appears mobile. She is rather tall, long blonde hair with blue eyes. She has a certain elegance to her, but it appears to come more from age and knowledge than any level of natural-born charisma.
So Ursa is he's a hulking behemoth of a young man, a Goliath, very tall and broad. But unlike most of his Goliath kin, rather than having no hair on top and all the hair is a beard, he's he's got a bit of a baby face and a medium length hair, blonde with it braided down on one side, kind of draping over the battle scars on his face, and he's adorned in bear pelts with a bare-chested kind of fur coat as he kind of sits at the table, scrunched up a little bit.
As you all enter and you take your seats, looking back and forth at one another, your attention all kind of turns to the queen, who looks to you all. Greetings, fabled warriors. I was honestly not sure if you'd all make it here. Especially you, Madam Tiltrust. Thank you.
Gives a little bow in her seat.
All thee here tonight, because you all know of what this world has endured the past many years, and I'm afraid that there is not much more that we can do to hold on. My finest tacticians and advisors, they have shown me the reality of the situation and the true disparity, the hopelessness of all. Frankly, what you see before you on your plates tonight is most of what we could squander up. Make sure that we could give you a good goodbye, so that you're fueled, ready to take on whatever evil you will have to encounter, because this is all we have left. This is all of our hope is in you. There is no more light in this world to be seen. There is only darkness and disparity. The stories I was told by my father are not true anymore. And I wish to bring light to a world in which I am happy to raise kin, to raise children. Because right now, no one deserves to go through this. Our resources are limited. Our men are starving and dying. And you all are going to put an end to this. I'm done with hoping. I'm done with praying. I'm demanding that there is success. That good finds a way to triumph over evil. If not any other day, then today. There's a bit of somber energy mixed with this raw, emotional enthusiasm that doesn't seem like she's trying to convince you as much as she's trying to convince herself. You see a individual approach from the corner of the room who's kind of standing there. He's a bit taller for a human, a little more on the taller side, about 6'1", bulky, wearing a full plate. He holds himself with this incredible stature, very young for someone who seems to have all sorts of medals and adornments on his chest. This is the man who will be leading you on this expedition, Ezekiel Donheder. He kind of nods to you all. Good evening, everyone. There's no easy way of saying this. We are sending the rest of the armies of Bashea into a death trap. It's honestly a suicide mission, but it's one that we're hoping will distract enough troops, bring enough time for us to take care of what really matters. He kind of pulls out a map. This is where all of their primary resources come from. We're talking timber, we're talking food, many magical ingredients mined out from the mountainside. This is the hotspot of resources that would cripple them. But it's a death trap. There is too much we cannot see. The North Sea lies just behind this strip of land. And in that sea, we do not know what they hold. There's a river that they control, a choke point that we would not be able to overcome. We would be decimated, is what I'm trying to say. It would be a long, drawn-out suicide mission, but a suicide mission nonetheless. This attack will launch in approximately 48 hours. Meantime, the 5 of us and a small crew are going to take a single vessel across the ocean to Boreal, straight to the capital kingdom, Borealis. We're then going to eliminate as many of the leading targets as possible. You all are familiar with the Three Queens, a trio of darkness. They stay together always, never leaving each other's side. And with them they have a trio of vile dragons, which all serve different roles. There is Zswarg. We call him the Contriver. He rarely leaves the city of Borealis. He stays as the main protector and aids in the Queen's dark, vile plans. Then there's Trozadath. He is the disease and decay. Then there's Ditheratox, the Enforcer. This is the one we need to look out for. This is the one that, if we're gonna get killed off rip, it's gonna be this one. And then lastly, there are what we have simply referred to as the spouses. King Dazagoth and General Azafel. Dazagoth is the husband of Queen Azul, primary in force, riding alongside Ditheratox, always riding together. General Azafel, she is the wife of Queen Diane, to be found with Chazadath. What I'm saying is that we are never going to be able to take a target alone. There are always going to be multiple enemies, and as you all kind of take this in, Queen looks to you all. I know that this is a lot to ask, and there's a lot riding on the success of this. I cannot make any promises about your survival, or about the danger. You have the heart of the people on your side.
Well, after that pep talk earlier, we can't just go about losing now.
I'm ready if anyone else is ready.
Gives a smile, and you can see there's tears welling up in her eyes. Then you leave at dawn.
What brings all of you here? I mean, the Queen called the other mission the suicide mission, but I mean, we're heading straight for their capital, straight to their home. I'm not sure which one counts more.
I have hope in us. I like our odds. You've got us. Don't worry about it. If it's not prying too much, what brought you here?
Well, the Queen, as it was, said something that strikes a chord with me. The light in this world is fading quickly. And I don't mean hope or the rising tide of evil. I mean, quite literally, your world is on a bad track, and the people of my realm do not seek to help. And I know there are many who live here on Midgard that don't quite deserve the light of Alfheim, but there are still elves here, and there are many who could seek its blessing and should.
You are much appreciated.
And you see as she talks, she summons like this very dim, it almost appears like a small glowing sun in her hand, like kind of fades and then sparks out. In my home, I could make something, well, much larger than this without any effort. But here, it would take a considerable work of magic, bridged to the connection to the light of Alfheim. I wish that my fellows would see that it could be the case here, that the light could shine just as brightly once again as it did some time ago.
So you're one of the good guys.
I mean, I thought we all are. Are you?
I'd say so, but your story and motivation's very uplifting.
Quite noble.
Glad you think that. My peers don't quite agree.
Well, then we'll show them that we're worth the light.
As you have been at sea for, at this point, 6 days, there is a weight you can feel on your soul. A cold breeze blows from the north. There is danger coming. You all sense it. But Lumina, you feel more than that. You feel something very wrong. Slight, faintest sound of leathery wings beating. Far, far off.
She's gonna put her arms over everyone and just kind of be like, so, how is everyone feeling?
Great.
Fine. Just fine.
No sense of worry, dread, anything like that?
I
A little
felt
something in that
a bit
regard.
crazy, but
That is good to note. Okay. Because there is a dragon approaching us.
pardon?
And she points over. There's literally nothing to see, but she points over. That way, right there.
What can we do to prepare for its arrival?
You see Osen reach into a bag, pull out one quiver, put it on his back, pull out two quiver, put it on his back.
Ah, okay.
And just kind of like keep my eyes peeled for when it gets within like a mile.
As you kind of put your eyes out ahead, Ezekiel kind of walks over to you and touches you on the shoulder. What are we looking for? As he's just now getting to the top of the deck, you're pretty certain that your eyes can see great distances. You would feel confident that if there was something in the sky, especially on a day where today there is some cloud coverage, but it's nothing absurd. You would see it if you could.
I can at least say with high certainty that it's well over a mile out. I'm not picking up on it with my eagle eye.
Lumina. As you focus in your ear, you almost hear separate beats.
Oh hell no!
Okay.
I'm out.
They don't sound nearly as intense, but there's definitely at least 1, 2, 3, 4, probably at least 3. There's a few sets of wings.
So, either this is a very fun dragon that has a lot of wings, or it is not alone.
We knew they would not be alone.
I don't think it would be best to fight directly on the ship.
This is a bad time to mention I can't swim.
That's... Okay, that's quite bad.
Kind of keeping an ear and eye out for everything. At this point now, Osen, you can hear it. It's faint, but it's coming. But even still, there's no visual evidence of anything coming your way. And what grows concerning is the darkening of the sky, despite it, at this point, maybe only being about 2:30. About 30 minutes have gone by since you first heard that beat of wings. There's still nothing.
Osen reaches into his quiver again, pulls out another rod.
Do we wish to leave now? For at least a period of time?
I'm more worried at this point about the ship.
I can take everybody on the ship.
That would... I think we need to protect the ship itself.
Okay.
Maybe the crew members, but... I think we have those underneath the ship right now in the hull.
You're able to gauge that they are about a mile out. You are adamant that if there was something in the sky, you'd see it.
Lumina's quite wise and might pick up on this. That might try and, invisibility themselves.
Osen and Ursa, you two have heard stories of ships, either cargo ships or military ships, just being decimated, and the survivors saying that they were attacked by the largest of the dragons, Ditheratox, and there was zero sign of them at all. It was like they just appeared. And when the prospect of invisibility comes to mind, there's this revelation of the way they've been able to enforce and bring control and ruin to those who travel the sea is by not letting anyone see that they're there.
Does that seem like something one of those dragons might do?
Oh shit. I don't know if we're gonna see it coming.
So Lumina's gonna put 2 little suns in her eyes. You see 2 little tiny suns appear. I'm just gonna cast See Invisibility on myself.
It is not hard to spot them. They are not necessarily stealthily flying in. They are there. You can see them at this point. They're probably a half a mile out, coming in hot. You see what appears to be one gargantuan black dragon, which what appears to be like this glowing red crystal kind of in its chest, which seems to be spewing like this reddish energy like through its veins. You can also see 4 other smaller creatures, not draconic. They are avian. They are black-winged creatures, almost that of like massive overgrown crows.
Some kind of black bird?
You have heard stories of crows corrupted by the Dark Queens, basically twisted and transformed into these giant man-eating monstrosities. From your knowledge of them, will sometimes roam out and cause carnage and terror, but they're mostly something that can be found in Boreal.
Well, I do see the Enforcer, some big crows, some dudes on the crows, and the king is nowhere to be found currently. But also, I don't really think I could see him from this area. He is. I do point directly at the dragon.
How far out do you think they are?
Wow.
Half mile?
Is it time to get angry?
I'd hold off just another second on that.
I can be angry for a long time.
You want to put on a little bit of a performance?
You've got about a minute.
1 minute?
Moving at the speed they're moving, yeah.
3 of you, yeah. Four of you currently cannot see them. Do we want to try something fun?
What is the fun?
Yes.
I mean, as far as you can tell, you can't see them right now. So as long as I'm not looking at them, and I can tell how close they are just by the wings at this point. Do we want to try surprising them, like they're about to try to surprise us?
Oh, brother, what if I casted greater invisibility on
It is a tactic we have tried many times, but I do not work against a dragon.
That would probably work against the crows and the mounts.
Kuro will take a little carpet out of her bag and lay it down and kind of sit on it and just act like she's lounging.
Watch as everyone kind of positions themselves where they're waiting to be, and at this point you can hear the flapping of wings coming quickly.
Illumina, at this point, the second they get to the point where they might be able to see her, she will turn around and be talking to somebody else, and will only be doing this off of audio.
Are you guys trying to deceive them that you don't notice them at all?
I think that's the plan.
You kind of stand there waiting, almost ignoring the very obvious sound of wings flapping and these things moving in. The largest one lands straight on the front of the ship, and you feel it tip up for a second, just with the sudden drop of weight on the front of the ship. And for a second you think it's going to completely tip over itself and capsize, and it shifts back down. And at that same time you can see 2 different groups of these crows and their riders touch down on different sides of the ship. And as they do so, you watch the invisibility fade completely. And you can see as the dragon lets out a massive roar, you can see a line of acid fire up into the sky. And there's just this you can almost sense the fear of at least the crew. Maybe not those around you, but there's definitely a fear in the air. And you can see as the neck kind of bows down, sitting on the back of this dragon, a large humanoid-looking figure with a massive mask and what looks to be a giant black mace that it carries at its side. These piercing red and yellow eyes look to you all.
How cute! What are you all supposed to be? Think you've sailed a little too far north.
Kind of gets off the edge of the beast. Looks to you.
Lumina is still acting like she's pretending like she can't see them because she wouldn't have realized their invisibility dropped. She's
Hey.
just like, you guys hear that? Must have been the wind.
Must have been.
I hate elves. And he just pulls out the mace and readies himself. I'd like you all to roll for initiative.
We're in pitched combat now. You haven't seen her go for like any weapon. In fact, you don't see her have a weapon at all. And you see she like kind of reaches onto like pretty stylized gauntlets on like one arm. Like the bracers kind of have this design that has two suns on it. She reaches for one of them, grabs them, and literally pulls it off. And will say to everyone, "Let me show you all the light of Alfheim." Throws it up in the air, and you see like an actual like small sun appear that just shines this light down on all of us.
Next to the mass, in front of the dragon, and yeah, I'll wail into him.
You come up and give in the first swing, which is more of a setup, as you kind of swing down at the left leg, dealing a decent chunk of damage. But as it flinches, it kind of twists its leg in a way as if to kind of pull away, and you use this opportunity to just cut down and immediately slice off the tops of 3 of its fingers, as well as like still coming upwards and giving a good cut up the side of the arm. It screams in outrage. Yeah, that messed it up. The dragon kind of looks towards you, Ursa.
You ape, you will pay for that.
And is going to unleash a acid breath, which is just going to, well, it's just going to hit this huge line here, and it is, I think, going to clip this guy, which is a little unfortunate, but he doesn't care. You watch as this beam of acid cuts through the ship. You just watch like a huge hole kind of carved out, and the mast completely eviscerated, and what's rest on the top just kind of falls off, hits the ship, and then falls into the sea. All the mast is just completely gone.
Okay, well, that was kind of fucked up of you, I think.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do my original plan. I'm gonna cast banishment on the king. Like hearing, I like the sound of this. I don't. And you see the sun that was like right in front of him just flash brightly for a second, and the king's just gone. Like a camera going off kind of flash. Just whoop.
And with you being the king not in range, like gone, it is instantly gonna recognize it's gonna become your target. So it's going to 2 legendary actions. With a wing attack. That is not. It's not going to be too much damage, but you are going to be knocked. And it is going to fly up half its speed. It's going to fly 60 feet in the air.
Ursa's gonna get up. I think the king turned invisible. Fuck.
You have no idea what strange magic you've seen fall before your eyes.
Well, thinking that he's invisible next to me, I'm gonna reckless attack the air next to me.
Your first attack wings, and if there was anything there, it would be gone. You know for a fact that nothing could escape that swing.
Ursa, I may have disappeared.
Oh, got it.
I'm gonna go for the ranged guy.
Fuck!
You watch as it quickly flies and lands. You feel the ship move and dip down.
You've got to be fucking kidding me.
You slam down once, and it kind of comes up off the shield, and in this like, oh, you slam down even harder, right into the center of the spine, and it reels back. Its wings stop beating for a second, and falls about 20 feet down. And I'll say, in this exact moment is when the shield kind of drops, as its attention is just like completely diverted. So Seth, I'll say you're getting bold, and this can go off at the same time. This flash of light hits chest as this blood splatter kind of arcs, and for a second it has this secondary set of wings, that are kind of flying off of its backside as it is just reeling from that hit.
I think the only thing I'll do left is I'll as much as I can lean into the dragon's ear and go, "You have my permission to die now," and that'll be my turn.
Damn.
Angry, it kind of looks down at everyone.
Can you get it back, Jacob?
You will all perish.
And it is just going to just blow acid straight down, and you watch as it hits down into the lower sections of the boat, and it just begins tilting its head upwards in a straight line. It is going to hit you three here.
You motherfucker.
So I need you to make deck saves, but you watch as the line of acid just cuts the boat in half. And where you are all standing is just liquefied wood that's beginning to like kind of break apart.
Wait, you said he
And
fell.
peel to pieces.
Yeah, so I need to roll a 30 on this d20 to keep concentration. Ah, that seemed to not work, huh?
Banishment drops, and you watch as he angrily returns back. I will say exhausted.
So, King Dazagoth just got back from being banished, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna banish him again. You jerk.
Maybe.
That's a 24 charisma save.
He gets back. Finally, a chance to end.
What did you roll? Is it a no?
Charisma? It's charisma?
Yes.
Charisma.
He succeeds. I rolled nat 20.
Damn it.
And you watch as it goes through, and he turns, and he sees it, and he kind of, as he's returning, he just grounds himself in reality for a moment. It was just a sheer force of will and wrath, and looks directly at you, eyes glowing with hatred and rage. Not again.
Oh no.
And on its turn, King Dazagoth turns back, and you can see this large gauntlet he has on his hand begins to glow as he puts it on the dragon. Let's get the fuck out of here. And he's going to cast Teleport with the Gauntlet of Teleportation.
Can I? I'm going
You
to.
can counterspell.
I'm going to counterspell.
What
At,
level?
At 7th.
7? Snuffs. He clutches his hand, expecting the energy to go off.
28 piercing and 10 psychic.
How do you want to do this?
Ocean backs up these stairs, trying to get away. He's going to turn around and he's going to take just 2 pop shots straight into the crystal, and that was going to be the disarming strike of popping out the gem from its chest.
Yeah, you watch as that happens, as you hit the 2, as it kind of hits out, and the moment that gem is separated from its chest, you can see its life energy begins to drain from it, and its entire body begins to whelm with energy. And you watch as the dragon just explodes into a heap of acidic and fiery energy.
As he is standing over the corpse of his dead dragon, I'm going to pop him in both of its eyes. That's
Yeah.
for going after my sister, you rat motherfucker!
You watch, and as the boat begins to, like the sound of wood creaking and the acid just eating through it, as it's kind of turning in on itself and collapsing, you watch its body roll off, and it just collapses into the sea below. Are all watching as this ship is going down, and you are still a ways out, with no real means of getting there, except actually,
I have the biggest flying carpet that you can have.
as you guys are kind of taking off, the ship is sinking, and you are all kind of getting up onto this rug. You see Ezekiel standing there, looking down at the ship and looking to you all as you're kind of getting up together.
You coming?
There's too many people here that I don't think have some chance of survival.
Ocean will reach into his quiver and pull out the staff again. If you wish, I can get these people to safety.
is what I would like to do.
Cool. Click. All the people that were in that ship are teleported to a 200-day paradise.
If you're gonna send them, I need to make sure they're alive. Can you throw me in as well?
Yes. Click.
As the storm rolls through and you watch as your ship completely disappear, as well as any remnants of the crows, the dragon, and King Dazagoth, you begin heading out towards the direction of land. You are all crammed onto this one little flying dainty carpet.
I'm walking. Yes.
Or you're walking.
I'm
So
not on the carpet either.
broom. Regardless, you guys are traveling for the next several hours until eventually, as the sun begins to set and the dark clouds you can see are very apparent around here. You have been traveling at this point for approximately 4 hours as the land starts to come into view. You could see mountains for a good amount of time, but at this point you can finally see the coast, putting you at about 3 miles out. As you're making your way, you can feel the cold breeze kind of blowing against your backs. Even in Voshea, with everything bad, the trees are still green, there's still grass, but here it looks very grim. You notice that the coastline is pretty much devoid of any life. You'd expect to hear gulls at this point, but there are none. At this point in time of the night, you'd expect to see ships out, maybe fishing. You're not too far out. You'd expect the fishermen to still be out, maybe going back as the day starts to come to an end, but even that, you don't see. You thought things were bad in Voshea, but as you look out here, there's a good chance it's much worse. As you get closer, you notice that despite being the open ocean, where there should be a lot of water movement, the water's very murky. You pretty much can't see anything but like this dark greenish brown, and it smells like dead fish. What sounds to be like the trilling of bugs, but that's about it. Nothing large. There's anything that's larger pretty much has been unable to survive, which means the smaller things without prey that don't need as much have been able to just run wild. So as you kind of move in through the crashing, the movement of waves, you can kind of hear and point out the sounds of these insects. The trees they're not covered in foliage, but like they're still very much so alive, and their branches are ever long and creeping, almost like long hands, pointed out in all sorts of directions. Twisted vines and roots kind of twist everywhere. And you look and see along the coastline, it looks like this dense wall of foliage. But there's nothing green. It's all decayed and brown. You sense there is a unsettling aura around you. There is remnants of necromancy and illusory magic that just kind of fills this realm. You sense that there is such a heavy magical presence in this area. You and your knowledge equate this to the fact that very powerful creatures are able to warp the world around them. And so the fact that there are multiple powerful dragons, there are multiple of these dark creatures, these 3 queens, their mere existence has warped the world around them in devastating, terrifying ways.
Kura touches Osin's arm. It's like, brother, there are many, many things wrong here. These dragons are wreaking so much more havoc than we thought.
There are very many things wrong here past what your eyes can see.
I think Lumina, as like we kind of like touched down, is just kind of like, this land is utterly wrecked. There's really no other way to put it. I think I still hear maybe some crickets. I see some maggots in those trees over there. That's, I think, about the only thing alive around us.
As you say that, you hear cawing of a crow. As it kind of perches down, it flutters, sits on the tree, and you can see these piercing, unnaturally red eyes, and it just kind of tilts its head and cocks and looks at you all and goes over to one of those maggots and pecks at it, just begins kind of eating it, and it kind of looks back at you all. Then it kind of looks at you curiously. Flee!
Flee!
Flee? From what? What happened here? What did this?
Flee!
And it flutters off.
Well, that's not foreboding.
As you have kind of touched land, you realize that your navigation was thrown off a little, but you're still fairly close to the city of Borealis. You're maybe a half mile to the west of it, so you're just moving in a little bit to get back on path. But you can see out distance what looks to be signs of a set of docks that seems to be pretty much abandoned. Standing on the coastline here, it's very rocky. It's not like a nice sandy coastline. It's pretty much just a bunch of rocks that kind of build up a bit of a sheer cliff that goes up about 35 feet. And that's where a lot of more of the dense forest kind of begins. Lumina, as you're kind of standing there looking around, kind of keeping an eye of the area, you notice what looks to be like this little twig doll that is hung a noose upwards onto a branch, a kind of root coming up from the side of the cliff. And it is strangely, oddly enough, almost sort of resembles you.
Oh, you know, and I thought the maggot-infested trees, or the very scary-looking crow, or, you know, just the general vibe of this place was terrifying. Does anybody else see that?
Are you from these parts?
I just give him a look. Oh, no. I was going to say something rude or mean, but no.
I don't know why they would have a very unflattering welcome home doll of you up there. But I guess it's not a welcome home doll.
And this man is teaching our youth.
Remember about his other intelligence.
As you guys are walking, kind of keeping an eye forward, Ursa, you have your eyes peered, looking up for any detail. Osen, you're walking forward kind of in the back, keeping an eye out, until you blink. And the world around you completely fades. You see yourself standing in a dark void of swirling mist. You kind of look around and you can see what appears to be just members of your family, your clan, people that you've met and seen over the years, and you see flashes of their dead corpses hung, impaled through large spikes, bleeding and crying out to you as they all begin kind of dragging themselves in your direction. And you see all this happening around you, and a head full of screams and cries until you're right exactly where you left, as if no time had passed at all.
Listen, his hackles will kind of go up, and he just is from this point forward very alert of everything. So much so that the pipe that he has never really let leave his mouth has left his mouth and is in one of his bags.
Osen, are you quite alright?
I don't know. I blinked and I saw visions of everybody me and you had ever met, crying and screaming and dying in various ways. And then I blinked again and it was gone.
Well, that can't be good.
I do not think this place is a good place. If we hadn't already established that before.
It's getting worse by the minute.
Ursa, as you kind of turn around, as this is happening, you kind of step forward and you feel yourself fall. And you fall a good 10 feet before you hit the ground. And as you push yourself back up, you are in this fairly deep hole that seems way, way deeper than 10 feet. And as you go to pull yourself back up, you feel a hand grasp around your wrist. And as you look up, you see another hand, and you can see the faces of your students back at home crying out. Their faces bloodied and bruised. They look decayed, larvae kind of squeaming through the edges of their ripped skin as they cry out, "You left us! You left us, teacher!
No.
Come back!
No.
Come
This
back!"
can't be happening. This can't be real.
And
What's going
all of
on?
a sudden, you kind of open your eyes again, and this time you do kind of fall to your knee as you turn around, and Ursa's just kind of collapsed for a moment before picking himself back up.
Oh,
Just
What was that?
What is
bumping in
going
the back of Ursa. Why'd you stop there?
Did you guys see that too?
See what?
I fell in a hole and I saw my proteges, my clan, my students. They were reduced to nigh maggot-infested corpses.
Lumina kind of just like stomps on the ground around Ursa. Well, I don't see any holes here, so I think it's just this place.
The sooner we can get out of here, the better.
I think we should all hold on to one another.
As you begin to approach the docks, you can see that it's rodent infested. There's a large amount of rats and crows and bugs and insects that all kind of swarm this area, but you've yet to see anything larger than a rat or a crow. So you look around the docks. You would expect them. I mean, you know that they've had very dominant military control during this entire thing, and think that their capital, centered just off the coast, would have a decently strong militia. There's nothing here. There's no sign of ships going in or out. There is only decay and the ravens and the rats. As you look down the path, about a quarter mile, city gates, you can see a bright orange light, fire, bellow out from the top of the walls. And the distinct and unforgettable smell of burning human flesh fills your lungs like a toxin. A moment where you almost want to vomit with how just pungent and putrid the smell is. There is a singular wall that does stand. Looks to be part of like an old storage shed.
I will cast Tiny Hut.
Okay.
Right behind there. While inside the hut, we can see out, but from the outside, it looks like a soft yellow ball. Like, imagine if the sun wasn't actually producing any light, but like that kind of color. It is like floral and bright in here, and a very stark contrast to outside of the dome.
And as you sit in, even though there is this encouraging light, a light in which before on the ship, when it burned brightly, was encouraging and hopeful, still can't shine back against the darkness that seems to be whelming up in your chest. The anxiety of the realm around you that kind of pours through the light. As you all kind of settle down and attempt to rest, you all sense at some point in time during this rest something try to creep into the back of your mind. Something trying to speak to you, convince you, persuade you. But you shut it out, tune it out. As you kind of sit there meditating, Lumina, kind of taking things in, recovering, there's this moment where you blink and you had thought that the light of your people, the light of Alfheim, would save you from the dark, but as you open your eyes, there is nothing. An abyss of endless nothing. You look down at where your hands could be, and it is so dark that you can see nothing. You have no sense of direction, no up, no down, no left, no right. Forward and backward, there's just a construct that doesn't exist here.
I think Lumina just mentally is just like closes her eyes and begins to just like float in this space.
You kind of close your eyes and try to find peace in this. Then you feel something grab your ankle. You feel yourself yanked down as you are pulled down, basically in a grave. As you can see, above you, your two parents take a shovel and just cover you in dirt, and you are paralyzed, unable to move. You can feel the dirt moving into your lungs, filling your throat. And as you're about to suffocate, you finally open your eyes, and kind of this trance escapes you, and you are back in the dome.
I think everyone else, for a moment, if they're like not like taking a nap or anything, they see Lumina just like exhale very sharply. Just kind of like cocks her head to the side, and then goes back into like a meditative state.
I can cast Commune with Nature as a ritual, and that would give us information about the land within 3 miles of us. I'll do that. Ursa kind of like sits down and like a little mini spectral bear kind of pops up as a ritual cast Commune with Nature.
Yeah.
Hey buddy, we're trying to make our way through this city as quiet as possible. You wouldn't happen to have any tips on what kind of route we should take?
To the sea. Far, far away from here.
Well, I appreciate your concern, but
we wish we could go to the sea. We wish we could be free of this place.
If you can tell us where in the city to go, we can rid this place of whatever's plaguing it and make you free again.
The plague is all around us. It's in us. Soon it will be in you.
I see. Thanks, little buddy. Ursa will scruffle the little spectral bear.
You approach the front gates, which you can see are held slightly open. You can see it looks like there's just like a stone brick that's kind of been placed in between the two doors to keep it propped. And you actually see sitting out front what look to be two humanoid-looking figures. The one kind of coughed, and you can see a bit of smoke blow up from a pipe that they have. They kind of lean and hand it over to the other individual, who kind of takes it, the shadowed arm, illuminated by the fires that kind of you can see through the corners of the wall or the door there. One of the individuals kind of looks up at you, and you can see a single deep crimson eye kind of look at you, piercing kind of unnatural light emanating from it.
Welcome to Borealis, travelers. What offerings do you bring?
Yeah, you can see this individual kind of stand up, and they kind of hobble forward a little bit, their face somewhat illuminated now. You can see it appears to be this raven humanoid figure, who their right leg seems to be shriveled and almost gone from like necrosis, and they're basically holding themselves up with what looks to be a short sword that they kind of are using as a walking stick. And they've got one good eye. The other eye is kind of looks to be infected and all swollen up, and there's yellow pus that's kind of draining out from the side of it. So it just has the one that it's kind of holding at the side of its head, looking at you.
You bring
Osen.
gifts.
Osen's gonna look at the group. He's gonna say, or he's not gonna say anything. He's just going to, he'll wait for the rest of the group to do something.
Lumina, Lumina is picking up on what's about to happen. Let me... I have one thing I can try first. I do bring a gift. I bring the gift of light. And I'm just gonna cast a light spell, like, just an inch from his face.
Fuck.
And it kind of hobbles back and kind of braces itself and kind of covers its arm from the light.
Get that thing away.
I just kind of... Imagine I cast it, like, in my hand, and I just kind of move it to the side. Have you not seen this in a while?
Get it out of my sight.
As it says that, I'll snuff the light.
If you bring that gift to the queens, I will butcher you.
I'll give a
They
little...
are not as kind as me.
Well, when I think about it, I've actually just given you a gift already. The lack of light. So, you'll let us pass now, right?
Yeah.
And he kind of hobbles.
Just in the darkness, I give a look back to the rest of them, like, that worked.
He pulls the door, kind of opening it. You can see more flames, and it kind of winces a bit from the bright fire.
Make yourself at home. Welcome to the sparkling city of Borealis.
And you look and see it's a dump. You can see through the streets, the cobblestone paths, there are buildings that look to be desolated, glass shattered, boards up, bodies laying in the street with just tarps thrown over them. There are several piles of bodies. You can see another one of these crows kind of pushing a cart that is, again, filled with corpses. And you can see at the very far end this large flame, which the corpses are being brought to. You can see rats running rampant through the street, ravens or crows kind of sitting up on top of the buildings, looking down and making noise.
Well, I applaud your positivity in the face of all this.
I had to sign paperwork.
You can see, as you're kind of walking through, an individual pushing a cart kind of pushes past, and a homeless man sits there on the side of the road. Raven kind of kicks him.
You dead yet?
Check in tomorrow. He closes his eyes and rolls back and
Okay.
keeps pushing the cart.
Are there any, like, obvious families that have been, like, taken by this light?
I mean, yeah.
Just
You
like,
can see littered in the streets what look to be old children's toys, and a blanket, some clothes that look to be burned up in a pile. And Kira, as you're looking around, you see the doll made of twigs in your image. And you see someone pick it up and throw it into the fire, and you watch as it burns, and you can feel a sharp tingling sensation as almost your skin is on fire for a moment before it kind of fades.
she picks up another doll that she finds on the ground and goes, Can we finish this already? This is getting to be quite a toll on my mental health.
The old man who's kind of sitting there in the corner as you kind of walk in. You might want to dirty yourselves up there.
What do you mean by that?
Walking around like that. It's asking for trouble.
Well, I think we are the trouble, actually.
Hmm.
She walks over to him and kind of like takes his hands, just like leans down and goes, You'll be out of this soon. You'll be out.
He begins laughing, and as he laughs, you can see his teeth are all twisted and yellow. Sure, that's funny. You made me laugh. That doesn't happen.
Sir, I get on his level.
Mm-hmm.
What is happening around here?
Hell on earth.
I mean, besides that, what are the crow people doing?
Their jobs, living their lives. They're the ones who have,
Given themselves up.
kind of. We're all given a deal. Everyone eventually gets sick. Some people take the easy way out. I figured if there's still a god in this forsaken world, maybe on the off chance there's an afterlife, I keep my hands clean. As clean as they can get around here. He smiles. These are just people. Desperate people.
I figured as much.
Ocean kind of looks at this dude like it's a dying dog, because that's what this is in his eyes. This dude is a dog that's on its last legs.
If you do all magically bring an end to all this, good on you. But you'll
You
probably
wish to
end up
see
like
it.
the rest.
Will be the last.
That's what the last one said. 2 weeks, and I'm pretty sure their corpses are incinerated at this point. But you can try. March right through that gate like you alls did. Never saw a peep of them again. Tell me, in your land, what do they think of us? Do you think us monsters? Do you think us evil?
We think the people in
Cooperatively
charge. We think the people in charge are evil.
And we think you need help.
You know, I grew up in this. It's all I've ever known. You know, I've never seen stars. I've never breathed in air that wasn't of rotting flesh. I've never heard music, but I know these things. I know they were real once. So don't try to pretend, bring hope that I'll ever see those things.
Use a mixture of thaumaturgy and light to just do like a little show in front of him. This right here is a facsimile. Oh, sorry. I dim it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Of what you'll see soon.
You can see, he kind of looks into the light, hears the sounds. There's like this peaceful smile that crosses over his face. And it's as if everything that he sought to see, dreamed of, seen before him, and just a quick little flash. And as if in a moment of desperation, to ensure that he would never return to a moment without that, the soul leaves the body, and the man falls dead.
I didn't mean to kill him.
Yeah, it's similar to what that raven in the front was wearing, guard's attire, is walking around, and you can see one of them kind of looks at you and approaches your direction. Hey there! You look shiny new. Where are you all from?
We're not from here.
That's evident. That's why I asked. You see, it was a question, and I thought a non-obvious answer was due in turn. You all look like fine people who I'm sure have great offerings for the queens.
Yep.
You're on your way?
Yep. Well, we don't know where it is.
Oh. Okay. Well, your offerings? Go to the pyre. That's where General Azazel is. She will take your gifts. You might wanna recommend. I would recommend. If you're gonna stay around these parts, maybe acquaint yourself with some upgrades. Huh?
Upgrades in what sense?
Well, if you stay here too long, it's only a matter of time before you kick the bucket, croak, die, disease, famine. But us raven folk, we get some perks, all right? All the fresh rat you could ever want, right? On demand. We get first dibs. We also, the disease don't touch us. Except sometimes, but most of the time the disease don't touch us.
You know, I like to imagine Ursa was originally kind of like staring down through his nose at this man with just like an angry kind of glare. That has since shifted to like a, that's gross.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna go offer offerings.
Good, good. Do you need me to escort you?
Nope.
Okay.
Actually.
Lumino, if you're passive, easily beating this guy, you can see he's very clearly trying to pickpocket something off of you. And he kind of rubs his hand like up against your arm and tries to go for a bracelet or some sort of bauble that looks like it might be expensive.
As he's trying to do that, pickpocket it off of him as he's pickpocketing it off of me.
Sure. It takes it from you. You kind of just take it from it, and it looks... And it doesn't even fight. It's just like pulling it back.
So I imagine like it's like a bracelet or something that like slides off my wrist, and I just grab onto it as he's like trying to take it. I'm just like, what are you?
Ursa will just grab the dude's hand and start squeezing very tight.
Okay. Sorry.
That wasn't a very nice welcoming to the city.
I gotta have my offerings too, okay? My servitude, my sacrifice only goes so far. Only gets you so much. You all have tons of shiny things. Shiny things that me wants, alright? Look, I'm not ashamed to hide it.
Just no.
Okay. Yep.
Just no.
Mm-hmm.
Just walk away.
Yeah. I'm hearing. Yep. Okay.
Then he walks away.
Where I'm from, he would have lost a hand for that.
If not his life. You know, Mother was always so hard on thieves.
She was, but she wasn't that hard. She was only that hard on me and you.
Your guy's mom cut off your guy's hands?
No, she threatened, and if we messed up something, most of the time it was used as a light threat.
A light threat?
We're a family of magic casters. Losing a hand is like losing your keys to your house. You find it again eventually.
After this encounter, you kind of stand there, and as you begin moving your way towards the pyre, you hear someone call out in a whisper, "Hey! Hey!" And you kind of look into the shadows of an alley, and you can see a humanoid figure kind of wave you into the darkness. As you are kind of pulled into the alley with this individual, they kind of grab you and quickly rush you into the dark. "Come on, get all your friends in." And you kind of look and see a bald, smooth, completely smooth skinned man, little darker in complexion, wearing pretty much rags, looks very healthy compared to the other people here. Kind of looks at you all. "Hi, what are you doing here? Who are you?"
First,
We could ask you the same thing.
who are you?
Waves his hand, and you can see what looks to be like fire, like fiery magic kind of coat his body. As you see the individual transform into a red-skinned tiefling with two horns that kind of arc back and around. They wear armor that's fairly tattered and light. On their side, what looks to be like a broken flute, as well as a lyre that seems to have all of its strings kind of fallen off and ripped apart.
You're from the last group, weren't you?
Yes. Are you here to get rid of the threat?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Before you say we're not prepared, we've already killed one.
No.
Two.
Great.
Two.
Great. I wasn't going to say
technically
that.
one.
I wasn't going to say you weren't
Look,
prepared.
it's outside a dragon.
I was going to ask for your help, and I was going to offer mine in return. But my group's alive, and I need to get them out. I was able to get them back to decent rest, but their wounds are infected. I can't... They're not healing. They're not recovering. This place is corrupt and evil, and I've been here for about 2 weeks now. I kind of know how this place works. The three queens and the other dragon, Ziswag, they stay held up in the keep. As you approach the pyre of fire that bellows high, you begin to see the large monstrosity ravens kind of perched up on the rooftops. And you can see the corner of a head and a face full of scales kind of turn, the light reflecting off the obsidian scales of the black dragon. You can hear that guttural roar as it kind of turns and looks around. Peering over the roofs, kind of looking around, you can hear it kind of say out, "Danger is coming. I can smell it. I see it." And you look and see as one of the large eyes kind of looks directly at you, Ursa, distance away, but like with your like eagle-eye vision, it's almost like as if it's right in front of you. I would like everyone to roll for initiative. The general kind of looks at you and is going to cast...
No, we don't do spells here.
She's just gonna cast haste.
I just want to look around, look at his comrades. Well, thankfully there was only were-crows, and not who, what, when, why, and how crows. But you, big guy, you've got to deal with me. And I'm gonna just run up and jump back on that guy,
Oh my gosh.
See, he's like 40 feet in the air. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess so. I'll run, leap onto the other roof. And when I get to the edge of the last roof, what I want to try to do is jump up as far as I can and have, since my animated shield's just kind of floating, have it beneath my feet and then kick, like sacrifice the shield to try to, you know.
And as you jump up again and then kind of throw the shield under you and kick off of it, it gives you just enough momentum that you do get up to it, so you do grapple onto the edge of its tail.
As I'm holding on to its tail, I'll just like look at this dragon with the most feral kind of look possible and like an ear-to-ear grin. You thought you could escape from me?
She's going to throw a bead of force at you two. You guys are both trapped in the sphere. However, you technically have items that are flying inside of it, so it kind of falls on the ground, like falls, and hits like on the back of your shoulders as you are both stuck within it.
Can you do anything about this sphere?
I have nothing. I'm gonna banish us both at 5th.
Oh, yeah. No, that'll work. I'll choose the fail.
Looks to Lumina and goes, I need you to trust me really quick.
Well, I kind of have to. I have nothing.
Okay, you banish yourself. You are banished, you are incapacitated, you lose concentration of banishment, you unbanish yourself, but in that time that you banish, the bead of force goes plummeting to the ground. And you are now back in the space.
So as my action, I'm gonna cast Dispel Magic, targeting the big lady, targeting haste.
Okay, and that just happens.
Yep. So
And
she
that
uses
is-
her next action. Or her next turn.
That's good. That's really good. Shoot your breath at your own tail if you want.
Please.
Well, it's immune to its own damage type.
Yeah, that would be fine.
That's exactly what it's doing.
Huh?
Yeah, so it's not going to hit Osin, but it's going to hit the rest of you guys.
How rough is she looking?
How do you want to do this?
Oh, fuck.
Nice!
Oh, fuck.
While she's unable to move, Osin's just going to place 2 of these shots are going to go directly into the shoulders, and then the third shot's going to go into her forehead.
You fire twice, and the third shot she does kind of, in this moment, takes 2 and snaps out of it, pulls out her glaive and kind of slices the one arrow out of the way. But as her momentum carries her forward and she looks up, the final bolt hits straight into the center of her forehead. Her eyes just kind of roll back and she falls to the ground.
I'll use the movement granted to me by Osin and my own movement to kind of like get up in that like saddled position, unsheathe my great axe again, lean into the dragon as much as I can lean into it despite its head being way up there. We're gonna have a grand old time, and I'm just gonna start whacking recklessly.
How do you want to do this?
I like to imagine that Ursa, you know, he climbs up the tail, he gets into the saddle, and he uses his first chop to like peel off like the scales, giving that nape really nice and fleshed open. Standing up, he'll just drive his great axe through its throat and just take it plummeting to the ground.
Yeah.
Laughing like a maniac the entire time.
Yeah, and as it crashes into the building and the building kind of falls to pieces, the dust kind of settles and you all on the other side for a moment don't quite see what's happening until the rumble fades and you just see the silhouette of Ursa walking up from the smoke, a bloody great axe slung over his shoulder, and like the acid that was left in like the bowels of this dragon just kind of spewing out onto the street, eating away at everything. All kind of turn your attention, and the fire behind the pyre begins to die out. You can see through the smoke the large silhouette of a massive keep looms in the distance, and you can see there are a few torches that are lit, but overall you just feel this dark, creeping aura that fills over you, and the air around you can feel filled with dread in the moments following the death of all these creatures, and you swear you can hear the scream of wrath and anger and loss echo out into the night, faintly in the distance from the castle afar.
Lumina's just going to like keeping an eye out for like the people around this area, the like city folk, what's kind of happening. Because like there was that very loud scream, so Lumina can assume that they know what's going on in the castle, but I think she's just kind of wondering, is that trickling down? Like, is a panic being caused in the city?
Looking around, it has gotten very still. The crows have stopped cawing. The rats have stopped running. People have stopped speaking. The carts are no longer rolling. There is a weight, a burden, a fear that surrounds all of you.
Ursa will like climb up on a roof and just kind of using his eagle vision to just kind of like scan the perimeter real quick after noticing that everything has gotten like very, very quiet, and just kind of see if there's like anything worth mentally clocking before they head out.
Towards your destination, there are only two buildings that really stand out, one being the castle, and then the other one being what appears to be a rather tall ruined church that still seems to be standing.
I'm seeing a what looks to be some kind of cathedral up before the castle. I don't know if anything in that church will be useful.
It would be interesting to see what they prayed to, or maybe still pray to.
You step forward, moving deeper into the city. You thought there was a stillness and a quietness before. The closer you step, each step you take, the more and more the sounds of the world become dim. The only sounds you can hear are those which you all make. The fog gets more dense. The mud more sticky between the cracks of the stonework. Brambled vines spew up from the ground below you, twisting and crawling upon the old stone houses, which this section of town you don't know how anyone could live in them. Maybe no one does. As you move forward, you can begin to eventually hear sounds again. You can see light once more. Torchlight. Sound of marching out in this section of the city. This is not for civilian. No longer do you see raven folk or crow folk kind of are act as the elite of the civilian people. Now it is simply draconian militant groups that kind of parade this area.
Lumina is going to try and like pull everybody into like kind of back street kind of areas, and like keep her ears out for like when guards pass kind of thing.
As you begin navigating your way through the alleys, you can immediately tell that there is a reason the main roads are being taken by the people on patrol. It is because these alleys are just filled with mud and vines that kind of twist up and pretty much make them incredibly difficult to navigate through. Osen, as you're walking forward, you can see your sister and Ursa moving up around an alley in front of you, and you're struggling, feet in the mud. Lumina is directly behind you, and as you turn the corner, both of them are gone. And you look back behind you, and Lumina is gone. Everyone just disappears.
Osin kind of recognizes what's going on from the last time this happened to him. So he's going to stop and just for a second think. You're going to see him pull a leaf out of his pocket. Kneel, kind of repeat the same phrase of the seasons guide me, the seasons protect me, the seasons guide me, the seasons protect me. He seems to be kind of having a little bit of a panic attack.
Kira, being in the front, kind of pushing through, you just see yourself round an alley and immediately run into a wall of fog. And as you turn around, there's more fog. Ursa, you see Kira disappear around the corner, and then this similar thing happens to you. For you, Lumina, you're in front, and you just watch as fog just kind of consumes and surrounds you as Osin's a few feet in front of you. And you're just completely been cut off.
Kira is like frantically, Osin? Osin?
As you are calling out to the fog, looking around, struggling to find any way out, you do eventually, after a few moments, look out and see a silhouette of a figure.
And she's gonna start running towards that silhouette.
The silhouette of this figure get closer and closer until you're about on it. You can see the individual has their back to you. You still can't make out any distinct features or traits about this person.
She starts like slowing down and, hello? Well, I'm just going to assume that I don't know you. Goodbye. She's gonna back away.
You back into something. It moves.
I'm gonna turn around.
You turn around, and you can see this thing is a bit bigger than you, but it looks like you. And you realize the reason it's bigger than you is because it's hanging. And it's hanging from a rope. And you can see your stilless eyes rolled back, blood dripping from the corner of your lips.
I see. She's gonna push it out of the way.
You push it out of the way, and there's like this jump scare moment where you see Osin's head on a spike, covered in blood, right in front of your face at eye level.
No. It can't be possible. She's gonna not touch it, but like very carefully go around and try to head back the way that she came.
As you are walking through the fog, unable to really see or find any sign of anyone else, felt something touch you as there's a bright flash. Lumina, you stand in the fog.
Lumina's gonna close her eyes. She summons a little sun, casts it out into the distance.
As it leaves and first touches the fog, you watch as it seems like a bunch of like tiny claws begin to rip apart the light all at once, kind of animating from the fog itself until there's not a single shred of light left.
I don't think I want to step into that fog. And she like takes a step back, looking behind her.
Yeah, the fog completely surrounds you.
And she just kind of gets like a little uncomfortable as she realizes it's also behind her. And she just kind of like takes a second, tries to like root herself in some kind of reality, and then will like take a look forward.
Calm your breathing, and as you look around, you recognize it's real, that whatever's happening here is some sort of illusion. You eventually are able to see through the fog. As the fog fades, and you begin moving out of it, you look up and you can see in the distance Osin perched on a roof.
Did that happen to you?
No.
Did we just go silent, or why are we up on this roof?
Nobody was here. Unlike before when we were walking through the city or the village, people kind of just stopped and said they saw something. You guys legitimately disappeared this time.
I guess we keep an eye out for our colleagues then.
That's probably the best idea.
Ursa, you two are lost in this fog.
Gang? Anyone? And when he doesn't get a response, he's just going to start trying to like swipe away at the fog, just kind of like I don't know, try to do anything to like clear the fog away, trying to get out of whatever is impairing his senses.
You
No
swipe
lucky
away
number.
at the fog, trying to find some way out. You eventually see in the distance, maybe like 20, 30 feet away, the silhouette of a figure looks at you. They look lanky, long hair, feminine. And as they kind of see you, they run.
Wait, come back! And Ursa will kind of like just gonna start sprinting after them.
Okay. You begin sprinting after this, round a corner, and you look and see you're getting closer, bit by bit by bit. You round the corner, and the fog is kind of relieved for a moment, and there's this stillness in the air. You can see a tall, sickly, lanky-looking old woman with long, grayish hair, basically wearing rags, all sorts of baubles and strange symbols etched into her skin.
Ursa will call out, "Please, I don't wanna. I'm not gonna hurt you. I just am lost."
I'm lost too. See a very sickly, life-drained image of Lumina, who looks like she's had hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years taken, or like added to her life. She looks like the sickly old woman, incredibly frail. And as she turns around, you recognize some of the clothes she wears, but they're now tattered in bits to what you once saw. There's a light that once existed in her eyes that is now a pale void of darkness.
Ursa will like go to call out and start to say Lumina's name, but it'll just kind of get like stuck in his throat a little bit.
She'll kind of step forward. Please, I can't be stuck here any longer.
Ursa will just like extend his hand outwards.
You extend your hand outwards, and you don't know what happened, but you see her eyes roll back and blood begin to drain out from the corners of them as you look down and you hold a bloodied blade in your hand that has been shoved and impaled through her, and you watch as she slips to the ground.
No. I did. It has to be just like that one time. Walking here. This is all in your mind, Ursa. In a more extreme manner of trying to picture yourself awake, he'll kind of take his head and like headbutt the ground, trying to just wake himself up.
Okay. As you pound your head into the ground, eventually you look up and you realize the fog is settling. About a quarter mile away, up on a roof, you can see two figures. You recognize them from here to be Osin and Lumina.
Ursa will kind of just let out like a sigh of relief, realizing that what he saw wasn't actually true. Ursa will kind of climb up on the roof. Lumina, Osin, have you guys seen Kira?
No.
No. How long has it been?
You came out after 20 minutes.
Ursa came out another 7.
So it's been almost 30 minutes now.
Okay.
That can't be right. There's no way that's right.
Can I cast telepathy?
What's the range of telepathy?
Anywhere on the same plane. So if we are not on the same plane, it will fail.
It fails. Kira, you find yourself instantly somewhere you have never been before. You can feel a chilling cold breeze blowing against you, ice blowing into your fur and freezing and crystallizing on you in a few instants as you appear in the center of the snowy landscape of Niflheim. Around you is a plain of ice and snow and undead.
I'm gonna banish myself.
So yeah, Kira, you banish yourself back to Vanner in a location that is completely out of your own control. But Lumina, as you are kind of concentrating on the spell, there's a nothing for a moment, and then she pings, and you can sense her location somewhere.
Girl, where were you?
Somewhere cold.
Oh, where are you now? Do you know?
You are on an island.
I'm living the life in the tropics.
Wow, that's pretty great for you. Do you have a way to get to us?
I suppose you should go on without me.
I can... well, I wouldn't necessarily say I can get you back. I might be able to call in a favor. I was hoping to use this favor for something a little bit more dire. But this is pretty bad. Osen and Ursa, you see... Like, Lumina's gone quiet for a second when she started, like, telepathically communicating. You see her, chanting and prayers, like, kick up into overdrive as she begins to, like, start chanting to the angel Alfara. My beloved creator, the giver of life, the giver of light, I need but a small request from you. I need you to bring one lost soul, a Kura Metzi, directly to my location.
Kira, you feel a bright light, a warm, embracing light kind of envelop you as you feel yourself shunted, pulled from this part of the world to another, and you all see like this beam of light kind of firing upwards, this technicolor burst of energy, and as it fades, you can see Kira standing there on the rooftop.
Right as she appears, Osim just embraces her.
We don't have time for this, Osen. Let's just...
I know, shut up.
Can get this over.
You can tell, with that light show and with the chanting, your location has been made known, and you can hear the sound of soldiers in the streets.
Let's go.
We need to go.
Yeah.
You are being actively pursued. As you guys fly through, you eventually escape the eyes of the soldiers on the ground. And as you come into a bit of a clearing where that old church lies, it still stands tall. Surprisingly, the stained glass windows look to be untouched, like they haven't been broken through. This looks to be a church devoted to the Creator.
I guess that makes sense why nobody's broken this down yet.
You go down to the front door. It is unlocked.
Oh, thank you, I guess. As she looks up at the church.
Kind of close the door behind you, and as it shuts, you look out before you, see a quiet, dimly lit room. You can see there are some lights flickering very far into the church. To be a fire. Very far end, you can see a woman in white robe kneeling. The woman kind of stands up after a moment.
Not to interrupt your prayers, are you the caretaker of this church?
She turns around and you can see a fairly short, 5'1", stout, dwarven woman, completely bald, completely clean-shaven. She's a nun. She's a monk. Places her hands together in a calm manner and approaches. I am. Take it you are outsiders here.
Yes.
Safe refuge for now.
Oh, that's good, because it's not good outside, out there.
It really is.
Oh, well, not just because of, the bad things, but also some of the rulers of this land are starting to be slain.
They have brought much evil, much destruction to this land for many centuries. But soon it ends.
Yeah, Lumina gives her that look of like, yeah, that makes sense to, wait, you look, I think you know more than you are leading on.
I've lived in Borealis for years. Never given up on it. Always known it could shine to be something better. I know that the Creator has not given up on it. Seeks to bring liberators. And I know, looking at you, that you are those liberators that were intended to come here.
Do you mind if we take a moment of reprieve here?
Not at all. Do you mind if I pray over you?
No, it's no problem at all.
I'd like to give what I can to you all for your journey moving forward. If you would accept this gift.
I think
Just said sure.
She kind of goes one by one. To you, Kira. To you, child. Take this gift. She kind of smiles. Her fingers kind of trace across your forehead. She utters a word of prayer. She goes to you, Lumina. Take this gift.
yes, I do. She is clutching her pendant to Alpha.
Do you, child of the Creator, take this blessing.
Ursa will kneel down so she doesn't have to like jump up or anything. Of course.
She gets to you, Osen.
Osim will kind of lean down his head.
Slayer of three. Take this gift.
Yes.
She mucks your forehead and utters a word. And she blinks. You watch as her eyes open. Black blood pours down from the corner of them, and you can feel that trace on your head begin to burn as there's a bright flash. You all feel your body go numb and your heart go cold as you almost watch the edges of your vision as crystals, ice crystals, kind of crawl up to the face of it. Osen, you wake up. You open your eyes and you see a ceiling of dirt with twisting roots kind of holding it together. Feel tight iron shackles around your arm. Also feel some sort of like brace on your neck. You are strapped down to some sort of table. You look out before you and you see three creatures. You see a tall, pale woman in a tattered black dress with long flowing black hair and eyes in which you recognize. Dark black eyes with black blood that pour out from the corners of them. You also see another humanoid looking woman. Her skin a little darker, her hair a little less glossy, still this dark black. You can see these eyes that kind of glow two red embers, anger and grief from behind those eyes. And then you see the largest, a beautiful tan-skinned woman, very very thick eyebrows, who wears this kind of purple tunic. You can see a wedding ring on her finger, a ring that you recognize that King Gazagoth also wore.
Do I see everybody else, or is it just me?
It is just you. You see the woman with the black blood staring at you. You really all thought that you would stop me? Stop us?
Is
1,000 years of suffering in this land, and you thought you would be the one. You fools, thinking you're so much larger than life. You are still the ants we step upon. You are the rats we kick. And the people who grovel at our feet all the same. You are no different.
I'll rip out your throat with my teeth! Even in death I will hunt you.
Osen, as you look at these individuals, you start to put together who they are in their roles. There's Queen Dione, the woman with the black blood eyes. From the stories you've been told, she was the one who actually spawned into existence the other two. Yet they all still call themselves sisters. Queen Pearl and Queen Azul stand there before you. Azul is the larger one. Pearl is the one with the ember eyes. Queen Pearl returns. A spell book kind of flutters open before you.
You're not from here, are you?
Where I'm from matters not to me. Because soon, no one will remember the name of the Creator. There will be no songs of his glory or his praise. The only song uttered will be of our victory and the defeat of all who walk Vanrith.
You are weak. The seasons will trample you as they've done others. Time will change, as all things do. And when it does, I'll be waiting for you.
Before you go, we'd like you to write a letter for us. May scooch over a piece of parchment and give you a quill pen to hold in your hand. We want you to write to your sister and follow the words. Ursa, you feel yourself thaw, as if your entire body had just been frozen in place, and you sit up. A moment's gone by, but everything's changed. But where you are, there's no question needed to figure out where it is. About a mile downhill from your home. You're sitting on a road that takes you up into the mountainside, along the cliffs that overlook southern Boshea. Along the April peaks, look down, see footprints. Looks like an army.
Ursa will enter his rage and use that burst of speed to just full-on sprint, following the tracks wherever they lead.
You can see a faded line of smoke leaves the confines of the village. As you run closer and closer, you come to the front gate, which you can can see are broken inwards. You can see the entire place is scorched. Every building is burned. Every book destroyed. And as you rush to the center square of town where the markets once were, you can see uppercase T-shaped crosses, crucifix, in which you can see your pupils, those you cared for, hanging up above you.
Ursa walks forward and his rage subsides as it's an extreme sadness kind of overtakes him as he drops to his knees. No, this can't be happening. I was supposed to protect them. What good am I?
Look up on each of them, and on their chest, carved, is the name Ursa.
Drops to his knees and wanting to scream as loud as he can, but nothing escaping his voice, sits there and wallows in his own defeat and just starts crying at the feet of his dead village.
Well, Ursa doesn't think much of it. It's 11 days. 11 days have passed. Kira, you feel the same feeling of the cold leaving your body. Your muscles moving once more. Being able to move, and you sit up. It looks to be like a shallow, it's only about 2 feet deep. You recognize this place. It's close to your childhood home, maybe about a mile out. In the distance you can hear crying.
Does it sound like my brother?
It sounds like the rest of your family. Your other siblings and your mother.
She very cautiously gets out of the hole and looks around trying to find the rest of her family.
You eventually wander out, come to a clearing, a small little grove, cabin, out, sequestered away from the world. Your family standing, wearing black, see what looks to be a open casket. Your mother turned, a very large, brutish-looking mix between wolf and a bear. About 6'11", dark black fur, piercing yellow eyes, and a mouth full of like shark's teeth. See a look of maniacal hatred emanating from your mother's eyes.
No, Mama, it wasn't me.
She walks towards you.
Was it my fault?
Kira.
I tried so hard.
She grabs you by the arm and she yanks you. What did you do?
It's not him in there, it's not.
She drags you over and you try to fight but are too weak to, and as she brings you to the edge of the coffin, you can see Osim. His fur stained with blood, his bow snapped in two, his body stitched up as if it's been pulled apart and put back together. His eyes, his face, you can't look at it anymore, but you see a letter written, sits pinned in his chest by an arrow. In his own handwriting, it reads, Kira did this.
Oh, to me, I didn't do it. You know I would never.
You failed him.
No, I didn't. I tried my best.
Supposed to protect him. He was the one who was going to make change in this world. You were the one who was supposed to protect him and keep him safe, and you failed.
I tried my best.
Your best wasn't good enough. She grabs you by the arm and she begins dragging you towards the barn where, as children, you were beaten and oftentimes your mother had sick, twisted ideas of how to punish children with no regard for really anything.
She just goes limp, like she used to.
She drags you and clasps an iron chain to your leg. Lucin was my perfect child, my favorite child, my warrior, my champion of this world, slayer of all men and beast. And you failed to protect him. Creator gave you hands so that that you may care for him in his time of need, but you failed. So what good are you now? The hands are removed.
No good at all.
The Creator gave you lips so your magic could flow through him, but you failed, so what good are your spells now?
No
The
good.
lips are removed. The Creator gave you eyes so you could watch over your brother and see when danger was ahead, but you failed. What good are your eyes when there's no point in seeing? The eyes are removed. The Creator gave you ears, but in his final moments, you weren't even there to hear him scream. I wish you were. That you were here no more. And the ears are removed. Everything is cold and numb. Everything is dark. There's nothing to feel. The iron chain scrapes against your leg. Kira didn't realize it. 7 weeks have passed. Lumina, you wake up facing the snow. See the setting sun in the distance. You recognize where you are. Stand upon the cragged peaks. The place where the elves first blessed the world to the light of Alfheim, in the grand city of Vinole, where the very first elven tree was planted on Banner. As you stand up and turn around, you see 2 elves in white robes stand before you. They're your parents.
Wow.
Both tall and fair, beautiful, with striking blonde hair. Lumina,
Yes? Mother, father, what are you doing?
the
I
council
figured-
thought it was best that we came. The elves had already given up on this world. We realize you did not. But there is nothing worth saving here.
But I was almost there. I had met fellow compatriots. We
Lumina, you've been sequestered for nearly 2 years.
that's too. No, that simply can't be.
21 months from you leaving Alfheim, turning your back on your people, promising that you would return the light. You did not. Lumina, mankind has fallen. This world is no longer helpful for the elves. It's too dangerous.
But it was only 3 of them. Why just have my light alone? If it was more than just one person, just one elf.
Regardless, it's too late. You can't change the past. The council doesn't want to keep in good fortune those who are reckless, putting the lives of other beings before our own. Goodbye, daughter. And he watches the gate.
What?
And the light of Alfheim, just beyond that portal, disappears.
I think Lumina's just too physically stunned to do anything. Alpha, I know your will is beyond me. How could you think that this won't impact the elves? This won't impact Alfheim? It's not like we haven't been invaded before. You cannot possibly be taking the light away from this world. I think she, pauses for a real good long while before... It might be the only thing this world has left.
At some point, you feel something land on your hand. A white dove. You do not know how it got here. Doves are often very closely associated with this idea of new life after destruction. This talent, kind of caressing your fingers. Hex, one of your rings.
I kind of look down at it, specifically.
You see a silver ring, 3 little slots within it. Beads of light, condensed power of Alfheim itself. You see 2 of those lights still on.
Alpha, I know you would not wish me to do this, but you've already given me this ring, and that's something you can't take back. But with it, I think I might be able to take back something of my own. Lumina, says, I wish to undo this. I wish to be back in the moment before I was gone, before I made the mistake that led to the end of this plane.
And there's a flash of light. Kira, in the darkness, in the nothingness, you do not know how much time has passed. You see a light. The first time you've seen light in as long as you can remember, and it's calling to you. And it's familiar. It's welcoming. It's restorative. And the light restores you. Ursa, you have wandered for a long time, not knowing what to do, watching as the world around you is desolated and destroyed. And in that wandering, in that seeking of something, you see the light. It calls out to you, it reaches out to you. And as you take it, your purpose is restored. Listen, whatever happened to your soul was left somewhere dark, cold, to ensure it could never reach the light of day again. But yet light came, and you see it, and it calls out to you. And as the light appears before you, the waiting is over, and the time has come. Lumina, as you cast this wish, you can see the energy of light spewing out from the ring, and you watch as the world around you begins to shake. And you can see as the light cuts a straight beam, slicing everything in half, and you watch as everything kind of begins to shift. One world split, consumed in darkness, and the other world enveloped in light. And as you pull yourself towards that light, 3 beads of light surround you, all coming from different directions, all funneling in towards one location, Borealis, the church light. As the 4 beams of light converge, everything begins to freeze over, and then there is this light that kind of breaks through and bursts, and you see ice crystals shatter against the floor as she kind of backs up. What world? She looks beat to shit as you guys all full-blown relentlessly smack her at once.
As Osen backs up, he's just going to draw back his bow, shoot it into her throat, and then charge back forward with his mouth, clamp on her head, and crush.
As you crush the skull, you watch as this black ichor flows out onto the floor, onto the old church, and as you kind of look now, you watch and see the face of Queen Diane. Her lifeless body lies on the floor, still dead.
Is it really her?
Yeah.
Is everyone alright? I mean, that's a very dumb question, but...
Kura, doesn't even register really. She just walks over to Osen and starts crying into his shoulder.
Osen will lean over her as she's crying, and it's okay.
Thank you, Lumina. Thank you so much.
You see
And she also
Lumina...
goes over to Lumina and starts crying on her.
Oh, yeah, that's... I'm sorry. I should have recognized what was happening.
Lumina, thank you. Really. I was lost. Without purpose. And your light shined bright in my darkest hour. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have this chance to make things right. I'm forever in your debt. And Ursa just bows.
I don't know if what we're about to do truly is going to set things right. But at the very least, we have 2 more sisters to kill.
When you killed her, you felt the ground shake, as this seemed like this land reacted in anger and rage. And as you step outside and look around, you can see that the soldiers that once guarded this place have fled in fear. There's no activity left in the streets. The fog has dissipated significantly. There's still fog, but the regional power, once quite visible, has been dimmed down a lot. You get to the front gates, they're barred shut.
Try and bust it open.
Ursa, you charge forward, break down the front gate. It cracks open what looks to be a very desolated place where there's really not much going on in the open courtyard. You can't see anywhere where it looks like someone's held up, but as you all kind of fall into place behind Ursa, you can see in the very center of the castle what looks to be like right by the main doors, this massive hole. Osin, you recall that in this other experience that you were in this underground crypt of roots kind of spreading up across the ceiling. As you run down this hall, it's kind of sloped downwards and then it levels off. Ursa, you see not too far out in front of you, you can see a black dragon, eyes full of rage, wrath and anger, these two red piercing eyes of fury, as it stands its wings outwards, kind of protecting what's on the other side.
27 hit.
That'll hit. You watch as the dragon takes a little bit of damage.
Ah, okay.
Since we know that they're splitting damage, if I get rid of the dragon, will that effect stop?
Something like that, probably.
Ursa, real quick, we'll look to Lumina. Which one do you want me to hit?
I would say the dragon.
I will smack this dragon twice. Natural 20, baby. Let's go. And the second attack, another nat 20. I'm dead ass, bro.
Really rough as you put two huge swings into this thing and carve like a huge. What do you carve into its chest with these two massive blows?
Ursa starts carving his name.
Okay. You carve one up, one down. You get the U. You're up. You're up.
Guess what's about to happen?
Need your sword?
Yes.
Yes, let's go. Let's go.
And I'm gonna spell sculpt. So
She's going to try to counter spell right here.
No.
She's going to try. I said try. I said try.
Mal, you know what you
Yes.
can do?
I'm gonna counterspell her counterspell.
Actually,
What
wait. She's
At
invisible.
level. Oh
You can't.
shit!
She's
Isn't she?
invisible.
Oh fuck!
Yeah.
Yeah, no. She's just not invisible for me.
Please.
Yes.
Oh!
Let's go.
Let's go.
You could max level it and then take that damage.
Uh,
I think I will actually.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
so there's some half damage bullshit going on.
Cannot succeed. He's dead.
Oh.
Yes, let's go.
Yeah,
No.
because
No.
he's taking he
Everyone.
succeeded, but then he's taking half of full twice, so he's basically taking the full,
Full.
and then he's taking
He's
quarter.
Full
So
and a
he's
quarter.
taking full and a quarter.
I think this has gone on long enough.
The fact that you're also, because I like to think that you're just destroying the castle above us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like
just-
fully opening up the sky.
The invisible.
That's
the invisibility
insanity.
drops. She is still alive, barely. The other one is gone. The rubble just collapses, completely taking her. You hear her yell. You see Z-Swarg is completely consumed in rubble and fire as it bursts everywhere.
Yes.
And you see as the castle above, as there's like a massive hole in the ceiling, as just pieces of it are
Tribution!
collapsing onto all of you as rubble is just falling debris. Queen Azul stands around you all,
Oh my god.
just alone, bloodied, completely like torn to pieces. Looks around.
We've got nothing left.
She's gonna teleport.
I'm gonna counterspell.
I will say, all of the 7th and 8th levels were used. So this is a 9th level teleport.
Oh.
I see.
That's all she has left for her upper level.
That's a 20.
The 20. She's going to attempt the counter spell. I'll do this in the level 20.
Finally,
Oh, I can't look.
Alfie's dice came in clutch. Thank you, Alfie.
Yes!
Yes!
Oh, that means she can't get away anymore.
No.
Let's
Wait.
go.
Wait.
Go
let me
get
see
her,
if she
big
does-
brother.
She still got a little bit left in her turn.
She goes for run.
Hey. Reaction? Remember when we said it would be funny for like a 9th level guiding bolt?
Yeah.
We're bringing it back.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Your time has come. And honestly, I feel really good about this. And you see light just start pouring out of her eyes as her body just gets eviscerated by pure radiance.
You watch as the radiant energy violently flowing through the body, and there is this loud scream that emanates. She kind of falls to her knees for a moment as the light pours out from her eyes, from her mouth. The radiant energy comes off of both of her arms. A pillar of light consumes her, and you watch as she is consumed in ashes as a bright beam, a beacon of light, fires upwards into the sky. And you watch with that bright beam of light, it hits upwards into the clouds, and as it does so, the line of clouds disperses, and you can see a bright shining moon looming high above the city skyscape. As the clouds linger no more, darkness has faded, and light is restored to the world. As light is restored to the world, you return back to your home kingdom as epic heroes, saviors of the realm. You are thrown a feast. The whole world celebrates your victory, as in the coming weeks, final bits of the Three Queens army, without any leadership, without the dragons, without their tyrannical control over the land, their forces begin to crumble, and what's left retreats into the lingering darkness in the far edges of the world. The four of you go down in history, go down as legends, on a day of ceremony as the new world order is established, as the surrounding lands unite as one, forming the Central Empire. Around the Central Ocean, the four of you stand in the newly constructed city of Iris, medals slung around your necks. You are each thanked by the crowds of people that scream and shout your names. A beautiful, picturesque sun looms above you. There are no more shadows, but a calming, enveloping light. And as you all take your place standing heroically amongst the crowd, you can see, flying high above you, 4 white doves crossing the sky. They perch. Lumina, you look at them, remember. All of you look at the world before you, knowing what could have been, knowing what you overcame, and knowing what you became. And that, my friends, is where we're going to call the end of this campaign.
Woo!
Let's go, baby.